Good morning, grade 8. I'm your English teacher, Miss Maya, and this week we are going to start with the grammar revision, the passive voice. So by the end of this video, you are going to review the active and the passive voice and the transformations from the active into the passive and the other way around. As well as you are going to do some supplementary exercises for an extra application. As we mentioned in the previous video, there are some times when you don't want to say who or what did the action, or maybe you don't know who or what did the action. Moreover, the object is the most important part of your sentence. In brief, you can use the passive to change the focus of your sentence. Consider the following examples. Mary helped the boy. The passive voice is the boy was helped by Mary. Remember that in the passive, the object of an active verb becomes the subject of the passive verb. In this case, the boy in A becomes the subject of the passive verb in B. Notice that the subject of an active verb follows by in a passive sentence. The noun that follows by is called the agent. In B, Mary is the agent. Note, only transitive verbs, verbs that can be followed by an object, are used in the passive voice. Intransitive verbs, the verbs that do not take any object, cannot change into the passive voice. Here is a summary of the tense forms of the passive. Simple present. Mary helps the boy. The verb in this sentence is helps. The passive voice is the boy is helped by Mary. Remember that the object of the active sentence, the boy, becomes the subject. When the subject is singular, use is. The form of be to agree with the singular subject, the boy. So the form of the passive is be followed by past participle, and the past participle of help is helped. So the boy is helped by Mary. B, present progressive. Mary is helping the boy, and the passive voice is the boy is being helped by Mary. C. What happens when the verb is in the present perfect tense? Remember that the form of the present perfect is has or have plus past participle. Consider the example in the active voice. Mary has helped the boy. The passive voice is has or have plus been plus past participle. In this case, the agent is singular, so use has to agree with the boy. The boy has been helped by Mary. D. Simple past. Mary helped the boy. Passive. The boy was helped by Mary. Past progressive. Mary was helping the boy. The boy was being helped by Mary. Remember that whether it was present progressive or past progressive, the passive voice is be plus being plus past participle. F, past perfect. The past perfect tense of any verb is had plus past participle, and the passive voice is had followed by been plus past participle. Mary had helped the boy had been helped by Mary. Simple future. Active. Mary will help the boy. The boy will be helped by Mary. Or the simple future can be used with be going to. Mary is going to help the boy. The boy is going to be helped by Mary. Usually the passive is used without a by phrase. The passive is most frequently used when it is not known or not important to know exactly who performs an action. If you take the following examples into consideration, rice is grown in India. Rice is grown in India by people, by farmers, by someone, by whoever. It is not known or important to know who exactly grows rice in India. English is spoken in the United States. As you know, English is spoken by everyone in the United States. If the speaker knows who performs an action, usually the active is used. Consider the following example. My aunt made this rug. This is an active voice. Sometimes, even when the speaker knows who performs an action, he or she chooses to use the passive with the by phrase in order to focus attention on the subject of a sentence. This rug was made by my aunt. That rug was made by my mother. The focus of attention is on the two rugs. Now let's recall the passive form of modals and the phrasal modals. Remember that when you have a modal like will or can or shall or should, and a phrasal modal like, for example, had better or is supposed to, the passive form is modal plus be plus past participle. Read the following examples. A. Tom will be invited to the picnic. Will is the modal, followed by be, followed by the past participle of the verb invite. Consider part E. This book had better be returned to the library before Friday. Had better is a phrasal modal followed by be, and be is followed by past participle of the verb return. Consider part H. Fred is supposed to be told about the meeting. So the most important part about this is to understand that in the active voice, when you have a verb with a modal or a phrasal modal, the passive form changes into modal plus be plus past participle. The last point to review about the passive for today is passive sentences with two objects. Rewriting an active sentence with two objects in the passive voice means that one of the two objects becomes the subject, the other one remains an object. Which object to transform into a subject depends on what you want to put the focus on. Consider the following example. Rana wrote me a letter. If you take the grammatical structure of the sentence into consideration, Rana is the subject, wrote is the verb in the past tense, me is the indirect object. What did Rana write me? A letter. A letter is the direct object. If you want to put the focus on the letter itself, you can begin your passive sentence with, a letter was written to me by Rana. If you want to put the focus on yourself, you can start the passive sentence with, I was written a letter by Rana. Change the following sentence from the active into the passive voice. Mrs. Mia sent the students an email. Remember that this sentence has two objects. Every time you write the sentence in the passive voice, you have to put the focus on one object. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I hope you got to the point about the passive voice. Thank you all for listening. Get back to me if you have any question, because in the next session I'm going to review some sentence combinations regarding the adjective and the noun clauses.